it do, baby.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
Where
back.
your sorry hug with me?
It doesn't matter what your name is.
We back. We back. It's been a while. It's been a while. I've been behind the scenes. I've been doing my thing. A lot of content through the summer, but back on YouTube, it's been a while, right? We're still here in preseason. And I thought I'd touch base with y'all, right? We've seen a few things. We've seen a few games. I want to start with this man. Well, not this man, Trae Young, but Trae Young, Zion, the matchup, right? Let's talk a little bit about Zion and what we've seen thus far. Let's chill on the hype. Let's chill on the hype. Look, man, his physical attributes, right? His motor, all that stuff is there as advertised. But I mean, if we want to be realistic here, the skills are very limited, right? Everything that we've seen thus far through these two games has kind of been in motion and only going to his left side, right? That little curl off the elbow going to his left side. Now, his ability to finish, his ability to take contact, remain on balance, elevate, his up and under moves, right? And he has touch to go along with the physicality. But let's be honest, it's preseason. They're not taking anything away from him. And how many guys are really trying to take a charge or go up and get put on their head in preseason, right? Come regular season time, they're going to make him go away from that left hand. Guys will step in front of him and take a charge in the half court, not necessarily in the full court. Don't get it twisted. He gets a head full of steam. That little in and out dribble is not being so effective at the NBA level, right? But it's an impressive, efficient performance thus far from Zion. But I have a couple of questions. Like, I do think, were we fooled to think that his motor was really greater than what it is? Because of a couple things. One, the spacing, right? The spacing on the floor. Now that things are spread out and then the athletes are bigger and stronger and faster, it kind of like appears like his motor isn't as good as what it looked like at the college level. And he kind of plays like in spurts, right? It's almost like a football player where, you know, there's these bursts of energy, but if you really track him and watch him, you know, end to end for a while, his motor, I don't think is at least as high as I originally thought it was, right? But I think that ultimately what we're going to see is you're going to see him get 16, 18 points, 8, 9 rebounds, and he doesn't really need the ball, right? You don't have to run sets for him. He doesn't need to pound the ball. And in today's NBA, that's just a rare attribute. There's not very many players that you can say that about. And so I think that that's impressive, but I think that it's not, if you think like, let's say you're playing fantasy basketball or whatever, well, he'll fill the stat sheet because I think his passing in the open court, I think, is even better than advertised, right? But he's going to need to develop some skills. I'm not saying he's not going to, but the jumper is very stiff. The timing of it, he's cutting off the transfer of energy. If he's particularly, you watch him at the free throw line, like, yeah, he bends his knees and hips a little bit, but then he locks them, and then essentially the shot starts again. And so that flow of energy from his feet, from the ground and his feet all the way up, it gets interrupted several times before the ball's released. And that's why you're not really seeing it fluid or with too much arc on it. But overall, look, I'm not hating, man. I'm excited for the kid, and it was a great start. I'm just saying it's coming a little easy right now. Teams aren't scheming. They're not game planning. When they make him go right, what's he going to do? Like, he's going to have to develop that right hand. He's just super left hand dominant, and that in and out move and the spin back left, it's going to be scouted, and guys are going to take that charge, and he's going to get in foul trouble. I like what I saw from Lonzo. I really did. I liked what I saw from Lonzo. The shot, it's compact, and the fact that he's taking it, right? It looks a lot better. I think him getting out of LA is an important thing. He's got to stay healthy. He looks strong. But ultimately, here's the thing. Here's the thing about all point guards and playmakers and creators. To really be elite, because his passing and his vision is elite. But in order to be elite, you've got to look for your own offense, right? Because you have to look for your own offense because that's what puts pressure on the defense. And right now, guys kind of know the MO of Lonzo. It's like if he's on a 2-on-1, you're jumping the passing lane. Make him shoot, right? He's still kind of reluctant. I saw a couple step backs and stuff like that, but ultimately he pushes the ball in the paint. He really doesn't want to score. And if he can ever strike that balance of actually looking to be aggressive and attacking, that's what's going to make him a truly elite playmaker and creator, right? But that's not there yet. But a big step is him just being able to catch and shoot. It's quick and it's compacted. It looks good, man. Now, Brandon Ingram, the other prized possession of this trade, man, he looks even skinnier than he did previously. Now, I don't know what he's had to do because of the blood clot issues, whether that changed his diet and his training routine, but he looks even skinnier. And there's no doubt that, you know, he has an intriguing skill set, but I think right now he's trying to play a game that he's not built for. At least what I've seen through these 2 games. And what I mean by that is you see him trying to put the shoulder down and be very aggressive, moving downhill. He's not built for that. He's not built for that. He needs to adapt more of a finesse game. I think so many people are in his ear about being aggressive, right? But there's different ways of being aggressive. You can be an aggressive jump shooter or pull-up shooter. And I think that's ultimately more where his game is going to blossom. Him putting his shoulder down and trying to power into the lane, you just see he's off balance. He's not built for it. He's not built for it, man. The other thing that I saw from the Pelicans was JJ Redick looks washed, man. Like I'm a big fan of his career. I like his podcast and all that. But you just look, if his legs look like that now, what are they going to look like in May? Like he has no lift. And Redick, mind you, is a guy that's always in shape. He's not a guy that's going to come into camp out of shape. So I'm concerned about the pop in his legs. But I think that the mantra ultimately for this young Pelicans team should be 3-and-D. Because they have the personnel to be very good defensively. If they can shoot the 3 and play some D and get out and run, then I think they can sniff around the playoffs, given health, right? And you say that with every team. This is a little different here, set up here with these recordings, the live edit. So if these pictures are a little mistimed and whatnot, that's why. I got a question for you. I got one question. I'm going to talk Lakers, Warriors, and some of this stuff here. Again, we're just getting our feet wet with the season. I don't want to jump to too many conclusions. What's going to end quicker? Or let me phrase it better. What will last longer? The honeymoon phase with the new Lakers roster or LeBron's new hairline? Right? And who am I to talk? My shit crooked as shit. I get it, whatever. But I ain't, my shit's my shit. I ain't got no carpet on top of my shit, right? But I really enjoyed that video because he was excited for that new rug, boy. No, I'm just talking shit, man. I'm just talking shit. The Lakers look impressive, man. They look impressive. And in that first preseason game with the Warriors, they had much more to prove. They've got a target on their back, and LeBron is ready to kind of restate claim to the throne and all that, right? But I think that ultimately, I've heard all this talk about, the front court. The size is what sticks out. And Anthony Davis looks heavy, right? Not heavy in a bad way. He just looks like he's finally filled out. He looks a lot thicker. Pause. But I think ultimately, here's my take on things. I think it's LeBron, and I've said this before, I think LeBron needs to play the 5 and AD at the 4. Everybody talks about AD doesn't want to play the 5, and this point LeBron. When push comes to shove, I think that LeBron at the 5 and AD at the 4 benefits both of them because, one, we know AD's durability issues. That limits him banging with some of these bigger guys in there because even though he's gotten a little bigger, he's just not built for that, right? And then it limits LeBron having to defend and move his feet out on the perimeter, which at this point in his career is not ideal. So I think it benefits both of them, and I think that would be the move I would play with. Again, Frank Vogel, I don't know how much pull or how much say he will ultimately have with that, right? And then you saw LeBron. I think you're seeing him adapt. I think you're going to see him in the post, just dropping the shoulder and kind of feasting and living at the line a lot and kind of preserving himself. And I guess I'm a little interested to see if they're going to feature AD, which it looks like they should, rightfully so. LeBron will, for the first time in his career, really never not have the benefit of being able to shoot himself into rhythm. We all know LeBron is not a shooter, right? But he's gotten better. And he's always had the luxury, I should say, of being able, he could start off a game 0 of 6, but eventually he's getting up 15, 20 shots and he's going to find his rhythm. So it's going to be a little different if he's deferring to AD and then having to kind of pick and choose when he's going to shoot. Will that help his efficiency? Will he be more, on balance, or will it hurt his rhythm? I guess he's not really a rhythm shooter or player, but that's just something to look for, right? What else? All right. Well, let's talk Warrior side of things here. Alfonso McKinney. You can tell the elevator doesn't go all the way up. When you listen to him talk and he gives interviews, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. It is what it is. And you can see it in his play. He gaps shooters, right? He crowds ball handlers, and he's just very reactionary, right? He everything is reactionary. There's not a lot of anticipation or deception in his game. And ultimately, that's what basketball's about, anticipation and deception. And he has none of it. And, he fit a need last year. When the Warriors were a super team and loaded, he had one NBA skill, I should say, and that's his offensive rebounding, right? And you could slide him in, and he didn't need the ball, right? And it fit amongst all these superstars. But if you look at the roster now, that we need more dynamic players, meaning we need guys with multiple tools. And you look at a Glenn Robinson and Alec Burks, the rookies that are brought in, and there's just no longer a need for him, right? And so the rumors and all that's been swirling, and they're making a big hype. I'll pop in the highlights here. Marquise Chris, the 8th pick from Sacramento, by Sacramento, traded to the Suns. I liked him. I remember the first time I saw him, I think he got in Draymond's face his rookie year. And I was like, oh, this kid ain't scared of shit. It might have even been KD. And for whatever reason, when you're drafted by the Kings and traded to the Suns, that's bad luck anyway, right? But the issue with him has been his maturity and his temperament. A lot of technicals, a lot of losing his cool on the court. He was traded to Houston. Houston moved him out. It was the Brandon Knight deal and this. And then now he's just searching for an opportunity. 23 years old. He seemed to mature, and you see the physical attributes, right? The bounce, the aggression, the strength, the size, and then he's got great hands to go along with it. If you watch him in the pick and roll game, he understands pace. He understands timing. If you watch him in a pick and roll with D'Lo, he knows D'Lo is going to come off the screen slower with pace. And so he rolls slower. If it's Steph, he's going to slip or move quicker because he knows Steph's firing off it quicker. So he's got some nuance to his game. And then I was also impressed with his ability to improvise. He's got good hands on the catch. If it's not working out, he's not afraid to take a dribble and kick it out or make a play. And so, I'm going to go out on a limb right now. I know it's just been 2 games, but given the pedigree and the research I've done and looking at him, there's been talk 2-way contract. I hope they lock him up for 2 years. I don't know if it's possible, but the move is going to be to waive McKinney and give him a guaranteed deal. Now, can we get him on a 2-year deal? Because he's going to outplay a minimum deal this season, given the opportunity. Now, he's getting that opportunity because Looney with the sore hammy, and then obviously Willie Cauley-Stein with the strained foot, and I think they're just being extra cautious. But it's unfortunate, given this is their first training camp together, they can't build that chemistry. Stein's such a smooth athlete. I'm not too worried about it. If you watch these first 2 games, they got the big win last night at Chase Center, their first one against Minnesota. And you're seeing the perimeter defense. There's not a whole lot of defense being played from either side, a lackluster effort. But you see how compromised we are on the perimeter. And that's why Willie Cauley-Stein giving us heavy minutes and protecting the rim is going to be essential. Looney, for all his switchability, he's not really a rim protector, and that's why I bring back up Marquise Chris, who is a shot blocker. You're seeing the highlights here from Washington. I think he was at almost 2 a game there that freshman year. He likes to challenge shots, and you see Omari Spellman, big boy, likes to get up and try to challenge shots as well. So we're going to need rim protection to clean up the mistakes of our perimeter because, let's be honest, man, we don't have a lot of perimeter defenders, right? What else did I see here in these few games? Boy, Jordan Poole's a baller. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Poole can ball. He's a natural. He's a natural scorer. You see he has the float game, and he has that. There was a move where he caught the ball and he stepped back, and he knows how to show shot and get guys running at him, and then he's got wiggle. But what's most impressive is his want to defend, right? He's got decent size, and his want and ability and effort to defend. If he can grow with that and continue to show that into the season, don't be surprised if he steals that starting job, because that's the talk, right? Who's going to start at small forward? It looks like it may be Glenn Robinson, right? Because I'm anticipating McKinney being waived. But I think as the season goes on, if Poole can continue to grow and show that want, man, I think we found one. I think there's been several encouraging things with these roster moves in Chris and his intrigue, and we may have lucked out in him catching him maturing at the right time. But Poole's a baller. They did well with that. You know, we'll see about Jacob Evans, Pascal. Smiley's been chipped up. We got a ways to go. I'm not going to dive too much more into this. If y'all have wondering where my content's been, I've been on my Patreon all summer. I've had docu-series videos, breakdowns of Summer League, different things like that. I'm going to be on YouTube dropping some stuff, podcast, video takes like this, but I'm covering every Warrior game as well as big game coverage. So meaning like just interesting games, Lakers, Clippers. I'm going to have a bunch of Zion stuff. I'm interested in the Hawks. I want to see how Boston's retooled things. So it's not just Warrior coverage, but these breakdowns are 15, 20 minutes if the game is that good of details. And then, you know, you get the visual of it. You get some schematics. And then you get some things that are probably better left unsaid on YouTube. You feel me? Some of my, you know, more candid takes. So I encourage y'all to check that out because it's starting up, man. I've already covered in the preseason. I got a full breakdown of that Minnesota game last night. I know some of you probably missed it because of that WNBA coverage. You know, that Della Dawn, is that how you say her name? Scoring title, MVP, championship. I see you. With the knee brace, the face mask, and the herniated discs. Those ladies are tough. That's one thing with watching my girls hoop and watching women's basketball. The women are way tougher than the men. That's one thing. You know, it may not be a vertical game. They're way tougher, man. All right, moving on here. Let's talk a little bit about this, right? Let's talk a little bit about this here. Look, here's the misconception. Rap battles are not about who raps better. It's not about the better song. To me, it's essentially the dozens. Right? You're playing the dozens. It's who gets the bigger, right? That's what it's about to me. That's what a rap battle is about to me. So, yeah, Dame can rap circles around Shaq. But when it comes to just clowning, Shaq's got him in spades, right? And I enjoyed both of them. Look, I respect Dame he really is a rapper, right? You know, he like the song composition and wordplay and all that, the beats, his own beats. And yeah, Shaq may not have written this shit, but the shit was hilarious. Shaq's just funnier. He dressing like a thought. I mean, come on, man. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, these two went back and forth with about 3 or 4 songs between each other, right? And Shaq's has the last one out that really was, woo, he's rapping over older beats. Dame probably has a studio right in his bedroom, right next to his bedroom, and he just hops in there. But I'll tell you this. Here's the problem with this. Dame's in a bad spot here. He's in a bad spot because Shaq won. His career's done. You're dealing with a legend here, and hopefully one day we can call Dame that too, but probably not yet, right? But the fact that Shaq is on TNT, we know Shaq's petty, right? We know he's petty, so we know he's going to be petty every opportunity that he can be on Inside the NBA all season long. He's just going to be able to take relentless little jabs and shots at Dame throughout the year, and that's why I say Dame's in a bad spot, but it's all love, and really, it's smart promotion, because those that didn't know that Dame just put out a rap album probably are checking for it now, so I wouldn't be surprised if the two were in cahoots, to be honest with you, right? You know what I mean? Couple more takes on this thing here. This height controversy. You see all these Instagram posts. The NBA is making every team put in new official measurements without shoes. Key word, without shoes, NBA bloggers in Twittersphere, right? Is that a word? I don't know what it is. But my point is, everybody's making these assumptions because, look, the measurements before were in shoes, right? So naturally, everybody's height should go down an inch and a half or 2, Someone who is 6'3" should be now listed at 6'1". That would be the natural progression of these measurements. You're taking the shoes off. So the only alarming heights should be if, one, someone's height stays the same, which means obviously they're taller than they really were. You can add an inch or two now in shoes. Or if it drops more than an inch and a half or two, right? Those are the ones to look at. So KD, you see here, went from 6'9" to 6'10", it went up. So technically in shoes, he is what we thought he was, a 7-footer. Okay? Now, the one that everybody's brow has been raised at, I don't know what they're doing in Sacramento. First, we find out Buddy Hield is like 32. And then we hear Marvin Bagley is 6'8", barefoot. Now, I know he rocks the fro dreads or whatever it is, and that probably adds some inches. We all could use that. But what I'm saying is that one was alarming because he was previously listed at 6'11". So what, you're getting a 3-inch difference. I don't know what type I think he rocks Pumas. So I don't know what's up with that. But I say that to say, if he was measured out at 6'8", the year he was drafted, I don't think he goes number 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. He went 2, right? Ayton, Bagley, then Luka, right? Or Trey in the Luka deal, right? But that difference for a big from 6'8" to 6'10", that's a big difference. That's bigger than 6'5" to 6'3", or like a guard that's 6'8" to 6'6". That 6'8" to 6'10" jump is a big, significant jump. And I don't think he would have went in that place if he really measured that low. So we'll see. I don't know what's true or what's not, and how official these measurements are. If the teams are just sending him in, the teams can still embellish, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I got one more take here for y'all. Oh, that's not true. 2. I don't know how long the segments go. It's been a while. I got to cover some things. Rich Paul, like Rich Kleiman, is a cuck. Yeah, I said it.
Go get the strap.
Right. Now, he did an interview and he said, basically, AD is better than Giannis. And if AD was on the Bucks, they would have been in the finals. And he knows how to make his teammates better. Okay, so I thought about it, right? Like, that's a good, comparing those two is very comparable. Those two are on the same, that's apples to apples to me, right? They're two elite bigs in their primes. But here's how I see the matchup. Got a little graphic for y'all here. Let me go through this here. The shooting is probably not much to argue here. Anthony Davis is the superior shooter, right? And Giannis, while has confidence, it's still very inconsistent. Here's where you may raise a brow. I've got Giannis at 4 stars and Anthony Davis at 3. And because there's different types of handles. Look, like Giannis isn't hitting you with behind the back and standing and dancing with you. But Giannis's handle in the open court and his ability to play fast with his handle and get up and down the court, and how he doesn't need, less is more. He doesn't need many dribbles with his stride. I think his handle is at the effectiveness of a 4. Where AD, he may have a little more trickery. It's not as effective. He doesn't utilize it as much, right? Passing, and this is where I'll explain this with playmaking passing. Passing means, can you make all the passes? Left hand, right hand, and make all the passes. And I think AD probably is a better passer than Giannis. But Giannis doesn't look to pass as much. When I go into playmaking, and here's what Rich Paul was talking about. He thinks AD is a better playmaker. I disagree. And here's why. It's because Giannis, because of his aggression, he actually has more gravity and creates more shots and opportunities for his teammates than AD. Because AD plays that face-up game, it's more at a standstill, right? I think that the playmaking ability of Giannis is actually greater. Even though he may not look to pass as much, he may not have as many tools with the passing itself, the playmaking is better because of his style of play. On ball defense, I give Giannis the nod just by a bit, because I think at this point he's better on the perimeter, right? I think AD, you switch him out on the perimeter, AD may struggle a little more than Giannis guarding smaller guys at this point in their careers. Team ball, I think that's where AD has him. Giannis, it takes a little too many risks, right? And he tries to fly around and block everything. Anthony Davis is a little more disciplined when it comes to the team defensive concepts. Finishing, I think I'm going to give it to both of them. This is another one where Giannis may be more spectacular, but he's got less in the bag, but it's efficient. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? He's just going to go right through you and step around you or through you, where AD has a little more finesse game to him, but they're both elite finishers. Leadership, let's keep it a buck. AD, he doesn't have much charisma, man. Giannis, while being young, is a great leader. And why he's not a 5-star leader is because he just simply doesn't have that experience yet. He can't be. There's room to grow. But AD, man, he's just lacking charisma. You don't see him talking a lot out there. So that's why I have him there. And then this one, again, is another one that I think is hard to argue. It's motor. Giannis has a vastly superior motor and aggression to Anthony Davis. And that's why some of these other things pan out different, where Anthony Davis, skill for skill, yeah, he's a more skilled basketball player. But these other intangibles tend to lead towards Giannis, and that affects the big picture. Efficiency, they're both relatively efficient. And so you see how it pans out there, where Giannis gets 40 to AD's 38 stars in my rankings. What else do we have here? I guess that's going to wrap it up for this episode early of NBA Alchemy. Again, breakdowns of all Warrior preseason games, as well as some other rookies and exciting teams that I want to take a look at and then roll all the way into the season. And I'll be back. You can check out these podcasts on Spotify or Apple iTunes. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.
I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy.